Look, we've all been there, scrolling past actual masterpieces because the synopsis sounded too depressing, or because the studio wasn't the trendy one everyone tweets about. But here's the thing, I finally watched these shows, and now I'm having that special kind of regret where you realize you could have been transformed 3 years ago, but instead you were watching your 9th generic shonen with power levels. If you're tired of Male's Top 10 being recommended to you for the 100th time, and want to know where the actual hidden gems are, smash that subscribe button because we're about to excavate some treasures. And if even one of these changes your anime life like they changed mine, we're both winners here. This is 10 anime I regret not watching sooner. Let's get into it. Number 10, Gangsta. Here's my embarrassing confession. I skipped this one for 2 years because the main character is deaf, and I thought, oh great, another anime trying to be artsy with disabilities. One look at that gritty, dark aesthetic, and I assumed it was trying way too hard to be edgy. Turns out, judging anime by their edgy reputation is exactly how you miss out on one of the most emotionally raw seinen series ever made. This show is about two handymen, Warwick and Nicholas, who take on the jobs nobody else survives in Ergastulum, a city so corrupt it makes Gotham look like a gated community. Mafia hits, police cover-ups, gang warfare. If it's dirty work, these two handle it, but Nicholas isn't just some cool fighter. He's a Twilight, a human enhanced by drugs that give him superhuman abilities at the cost of his lifespan and a past soaked in trauma. The world building is suffocating in the best way. Every character is damaged, every choice has consequences, and the show doesn't romanticize the violence. It shows you what living in constant survival mode does to people's souls. Now here's the kicker, the anime ends on a cliffhanger because the studio went bankrupt. The manga is on indefinite hiatus because the mangaka has serious health issues. And yet, even knowing it's unfinished, I don't regret watching it for a second. The 12 episodes we got are that good, but I spent 2 years avoiding it because I thought it was trying too hard. Meanwhile, it was one of the most genuine explorations of survival, loyalty, and humanity in the underworld. The disrespect I showed this masterpiece haunts me. Number 9, 86. Let me paint you a picture. It's 2021. Everyone is hyping 86. I see the key visual and think, great, another military mecha show with pretty character designs. Probably just Gundam Light with romance bait. Hard pass. I was catastrophically wrong. 86 is about a republic that claims to fight a bloodless war using autonomous drones. Except that's a lie. The drones are piloted by the 86, people stripped of their humanity, their rights, and even their names, sent to die in machines while the Republic pretends they don't exist. Major Vladilena Malize is assigned to command them remotely, and among them is Shine Undertaker Nuzin, a squad leader haunted by the ghosts of everyone who's died under his watch. This isn't a mecha show, it's a gut-wrenching exploration of systemic dehumanization, survivor's guilt, and what it means to see someone as human when your entire society has decided they're not. The Republic's white pig citizens live in blissful ignorance while children die in the battlefield, and the show doesn't let you look away from that horror. The direction is gorgeous, the soundtrack is devastating, and the relationship between Lena and Shin is one of the most beautifully developed in anime. They're not falling in love, they're learning to see each other as real when the world wants them to stay strangers. But I spent months thinking it was just another seasonal mecha cash grab. I could have been emotionally destroyed way earlier, but no, I was too busy being a snob about generic military anime. 86 made me cry, made me angry, and made me a better person. I just wish it had done that sooner. Number 8, Lupin the Third. Okay, confession time. I avoided Lupin Third for years because it started in 1971 and has like 50 different iterations. Where do you even start? Which series is the good one? The old art style screamed, "This is homework," and I kept putting it off. Turns out you can literally start almost anywhere, and the homework excuse was just me being lazy. Lupin III is about the world's greatest gentleman thief, Arsène Lupin III, grandson of the legendary Arsène Lupin. With him are his crew, Jigen, the sharpshooter who never misses, Gomen, the samurai whose blade can cut through anything, and Fujiko Mine, the femme fatale whose loyalty is as unpredictable as her charm. They pull off elaborate heists, outsmart everyone, and are constantly chased by inspectors and Zenigata, who's dedicated his entire life to catching Lupin, but never quite can. What makes Lupin the Third timeless is its perfect blend of style, wit, and adventure. Every arc is a new heist with clever twists. The banter is top tier, and Lupin's complicated relationship with Fujiko, where love, lust, and betrayal blur together, keeps every interaction electric. I finally started with The Castle of Cagliostro, directed by Hayao Miyazaki, by the way, and I was hooked. Then I jumped into part 5 and realized this franchise is a masterclass in episodic storytelling. Some episodes are goofy fun, others are genuinely emotional, and all of them ooze coolness. But I wasted literal years intimidated by its legacy instead of just diving in. The old animation, the massive backlog, the where do I start paralysis, none of it mattered. I just needed to trust that 50 years of global love meant something. Now I get it, and I'm furious I waited this long. Number 7. Akame ga Kill. Let me be real with you. I avoided Akame ga Kill because everyone online said it was edgy trash that kills characters for shock value. I saw the discourse, the memes about everyone dying, and I thought, so it's just Game of Thrones anime edition but worse. And you know what? I was half right. Characters do die. A lot, but calling it shock value completely misses the point. Akame ga Kill follows Tatsumi, a village boy who travels to the capital hoping to save his starving home, only to discover the empire is a cesspool of corruption where the rich torture the poor for entertainment. He joins Night Raid, a group of assassins working to overthrow the government. Every member, Mine, the tsundere sniper, Shield, the airhead with a tragic past, Bulat, the big brother everyone needs, Akame, the emotionless killer with a heart. They're all fighting for a better world, knowing they probably won't live to see it. The show doesn't pull punches. Characters you love will die, and not in heroic slow motion. Sometimes they just lose. It's brutal, it's unfair, and it's honest about what rebellion actually costs. Yes, it's dark. Yes, it hurts. But it's not hollow edginess. It's a story about people willing to become monsters so the next generation doesn't have to. The final arc destroyed me. The ending is divisive, but it commits, and I respect that. But I spent years avoiding it because the internet convinced me it was just torture porn. Meanwhile, it's one of the most emotionally invested I've ever been in a cast, knowing they're all doomed. I should have trusted my gut and ignored the discourse. Number 6. Monogatari series. Alright, here's the pitch. It's a supernatural mystery series told almost entirely through rapid-fire dialogue, experimental visuals, and a protagonist who's kind of a creep. Still with me? No? Well, you're making the same mistake I did for 4 years. The Monogatari series follows Koyomi Araragi, a high schooler who survives a vampire attack and becomes entangled with oddities, like supernatural manifestations of people's trauma, desires, and fears. Each arc focuses on a different girl dealing with a different curse, and the curse is always a metaphor for their internal struggles. A girl whose weight disappears because she feels invisible. A girl trapped by a snail because she doesn't want to go home. A girl turned into a doll because she's trying to erase her own emotions. Now, full transparency, the fan service and lolly adjacent stuff is there, and it's uncomfortable. Shaft and the author have questionable taste in that department. I'm not going to defend it, but beneath that problematic layer is one of the smartest, most dialogue-heavy character studies in anime. The conversations are philosophical, hilarious, and deeply human. The visual direction is art, and the way it explores trauma without ever being preachy is genius. I bounced off it twice because I couldn't get past the weird stuff, but the third time, I pushed through and I realized this is what anime looks like when a writer trusts the audience to be smart. It's not spoon-feeding you emotions, it's dissecting them with a scalpel. The fact that I almost never experienced Hitagi's arc, or Nadeko's terrifying transformation, or the masterpiece that is Owari Monogatari because I was too hung up on the problematic elements. I lose sleep over that. Not every masterpiece is perfect. Sometimes you have to wade through flaws to find gold. Number 5, the Tatami Galaxy. I started this show 4 separate times before I actually finished it. The protagonist narrates at the speed of a caffeinated auctioneer, and if you're reading subtitles, it feels like a reading comprehension test on steroids. Add in the art style that looks like a fever dream designed by someone on absinthe, and I kept bouncing off it. But the 5th time, I locked in, and it rewired my brain. The Tatami Galaxy is a time loop story about a college student who keeps rewinding his university life, trying different clubs and different choices, desperate desperately searching for the rose-colored campus life he was promised. Spoiler alert, he never finds it because it doesn't exist. Every timeline fails because he's so busy romanticizing a perfect life that he ignores the messy, beautiful reality right in front of him, including Akashi, the girl who's been there the whole time, and Ozu, the chaos gremlin who's somehow his best friend. The climax, where he's trapped in an infinite maze of tatami rooms, each representing a life he didn't choose, is one of the most visually stunning metaphors for overthinking and regret I've ever seen. The show is basically screaming, stop waiting for perfection and live your actual life. The irony isn't lost on me that this show spoke directly to my soul about wasted time and regret, after I wasted time avoiding it 4 separate times. The universe really said, you're the protagonist, dummy. This is a masterpiece about accepting imperfection, and I needed 4 tries to accept its imperfect pacing. I'm a walking contradiction, and this show called me out for it. Number 4. Paranoia Agent. I avoided this because I thought, oh great, another Satoshi Kon mindbender where I won't understand the ending. After Paprika and Perfect Blue, my brain needed a break. Huge mistake. Paranoia Agent is about Lil Slugger, a mysterious kid on rollerblades who beats people with a golden baseball bat. But it's not a detective show. It's about how society deals with fear and guilt. Each victim is running from something, and Lil Slugger becomes the escape they need. The deeper it goes, the more you realize he might not even be real. He's a shared delusion, a manifestation of collective anxiety spreading like a virus. Satoshi Kon's direction is unmatched, surreal, disturbing, and uncomfortably relevant, and I avoided it because I was scared of being confused. Turns out being confused is the point. Number 3. Kaiba. Kaiba has a childlike art style that screams preschool TV show. I took one look and thought, artsy nonsense for pretentious people. Hard pass. I have never been more wrong. Kaiba is set in a world where memories can be bought, sold, and transferred into new bodies. The protagonist wakes up with no memories, a hole in his chest, and only a locket with a woman's picture. As he travels this broken society, he uncovers truths about love, loss, and what it means to be human when your mind can be erased at any moment. Don't be fooled by the art style. This show will destroy you. It's one of the most profound explorations of humanity in anime. The romance between Kaiba and Neiro is doomed and beautiful, and I almost skipped it forever because it looked weird. The disrespect. Number 2. SK8 The Infinity. I skipped SK8 The Infinity because it looked like sports anime for Fujoshi. Just pretty boys with implied tension, but no substance. And guess what? There is Fujoshi bait, but there's also incredible animation and genuinely hype sports narrative. Reki and Langa dive into S, an underground skateboarding race in an abandoned mine with insane tricks and dangerous rivalries. But beyond the flashy races, it's about passion, self-doubt, and finding what makes you come alive. Studio Bones went off. Every race is kinetic poetry, and Reki's arc about feeling inferior when your passion isn't enough, that hit way too close to home. I dismissed this for a year as Yuri on Ice but skateboarding. This show has heart, style, and genuinely earned emotional beats. I should have given it a chance way sooner. Number 1. Gate. Here's the ultimate confession. I avoided Gate for 3 years because people online said it was military propaganda and nationalist fantasy. I saw the discourse, saw the criticism, and decided, nope, not touching that. Then I finally watched it, and yeah, there is some problematic nationalism. The JSDF is portrayed as way too heroic, and some of the political messaging is questionable. I'm not gonna pretend otherwise, but you know what? Underneath that flawed presentation is one of the most creative isekai premises ever. A portal opens in modern Tokyo, and a medieval fantasy army invades. Japan fights back, pushes through the gate, and suddenly we're watching tanks roll into a world of dragons, magic, and kingdoms that fight with swords. It's a culture clash on steroids. Yoji Atami, the otaku protagonist, is actually great. He's not a power fantasy self-insert. He's a lazy reservist who just wants to go to doujinshi conventions, but he ends up navigating diplomacy between 2 worlds because he's the only one treating the fantasy people like actual humans instead of primitives. The fights are strategic and brutal. Modern firepower versus fantasy warfare is endlessly entertaining, and the world building is surprisingly deep, with politics, religion, and the ethical nightmare of one world having guns while the other has spears. Is it perfect? No. Is the nationalism uncomfortable at times? Yes. But did I rob myself of a genuinely unique and entertaining series because I let Twitter discourse decide for me? Absolutely. Not every masterpiece is morally pure. Sometimes flawed art is still worth experiencing, and you can critically engage with problematic elements while still enjoying the creativity. I just wish I'd learned that lesson 3 years ago instead of letting the internet decide what I'm allowed to watch. So there you have it. 10 shows I absolutely slept on, and now I have to live with the knowledge that I could have been enlightened way earlier, but instead I was rewatching Demon Slayer for the 3rd time. Here's the thing though, it's never too late. That's kind of the whole point. Whether it's a gritty crime drama, a military isekai with baggage, or a show that looks like it's for toddlers but will make you cry, these masterpieces aren't going anywhere. They're just waiting for you to get over whatever silly reason you've been avoiding them. For me, it was online discourse, art styles, and a truly impressive amount of cowardice. What's your excuse? Drop a comment with the anime you regret not watching sooner. I need more stuff to add to my ever-growing list of shame. And hit that like button if you've also been personally victimized by your own terrible judgment. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have about 12 more hidden gems to finally give a chance. Peace.